This month is a month of celebrating Swami Kriyananda. It's the month of his discipleship, the day he met Master, September 12th, coming up soon. And of course, why do we celebrate that discipleship? Really, you could think of it as our two spiritual parents coming together. You know, not in the sense of the usual thing, but that Master has come to us and has become real to us all through Swamiji, whether we feel it directly or not, whether we met him personally or not. That, as I think you all know the story, but for the one person who might not have heard every detail, Swamiji came to Chennai in January of 2013, January 20th, and he gave a lecture at the Music Academy, and 3,000 people came. Only 2,000 people could fit in to the hall. And Swamiji said, we must have a center in Chennai, just from that. The thing to remember also, though, is that even the day before the talk, Swamiji had written to Dharmini and me and asked us, would we think about coming to Chennai? Then after the talk, he said, you must come to Chennai. Then we said, we'll think about it. And he wrote back a half an hour later saying, have you thought about it? And then he basically put it to in such a way as, listen, I'm not going to force it. It's your choice. You can either come to Chennai or come to Chennai. So we decided to come to Chennai. We loved Chennai. We had my cousins here. You know, they live in Mylapore. We had been, you know, to the city many times, not many times, but times, and very much felt a connection. But we were living in Los Angeles at the time, and so to come back to India on one level was very welcome, but before, when we had lived in India, it had been with the whole community of all of our, Ananda India friends who helped start Ananda India to begin with, including Jayaji, Dhyanaji, Haridasji, Romaji, all people you know who are in their own cities now, but at that time we were all living together. And so to sort of be spread out in different cities was a new thought. You know, Ananda's main sort of strength or central theme is community. And so, you know, that's of course what we're building here. But at that time, it was still kind of a new thought that we should all, instead of being cozy together in our little ashram, we should all be flung to the four corners, you might say, so that more communities could grow. Why was that? Because of the need, the demand. The 3,000 people was just enough to say there is interest here in this city. And Tulasi told me this story that at near the end of the lecture there were so many motorcycles all parked in the front blocking the traffic, even not people on the motorcycles, just the cycles themselves being parked were sort of slowing down traffic. And one police officer came up to one of our people and said, who is this? What has happened? We have events at the Music Academy. This doesn't always happen. What's going on? They said, oh, it's a spiritual direct disciple of Paramhansa Yogananda, autobiography of a yogi. But then he said, you know, these motorcycles are causing a big traffic problem. Yep, they're causing a traffic problem, and I'm going to have to do something about that. Take the motorcycles away. Unless, you know, and just then the lecture ended and people started pouring out of the hall, and one of the first people out was the police commissioner. And he said, you leave these people alone, they're good people. So anyway, we were all saved. But this was the last center Swamiji founded during his lifetime. We've had many centers in India start since that time. I mean, after all, it's been 9 years. But that it even was predicted of Swamiji in a Agastya reading, a Nadi reading that he had based in Tamil Nadu. He was in Gurgaon when he had it, but it had its origins in Tamil Nadu. It said, wherever he places his foot, there an ashram will spring up. And so it was very sweet to see not only that happened that night, because he said, come, and this all started, but also that it has continued to. One of the last emails, not the very last, but I think maybe the second to, well, one of the last emails Swamiji sent to Dharmini and me was that I shall be very happy if this works out. And look at you all. And so obviously it has worked out and is working out. And so he's very happy. We can see that. I mean, those of us who have been here for those 9 years, we remember when it started and it was just very small. And yet you could feel, not just from the 3,000, because that was just numbers. You know, I mean, how many of those people came to level 1? How many of those people took Kriya? You know, relatively few. But that basic level of interest was not only showing the city, I think, for the sake of the city, Chennai, a spiritual city, said Chennai has openness. One person actually came recently saying, I took level 1 after Swamiji's lecture, and so I would like to take it again. And we have the policy that you take the class again for free. So it's sort of like, there was slight hesitation, like, let's see. So anyway, Prasanna called me, and I checked in the records, some of which were assembled by Tulasi, you know, what's his, yep, there he is, okay, yep, come on back. But, you know, some people never attended that event, never heard of it, and only came after Swamiji's passing. Many of you, let's say, which is to say most of you. And yet, coming right in, feeling that connection with Master and these gurus, coming in having looked for this, consciously or unconsciously. I was looking for it unconsciously myself when I was growing up. When I found it, I didn't even know that this was the answer to everything I was seeking. Then to take discipleship, then to take Kriya initiation. This Swami, those 3,000 people also came for you. In other words, God said, we have to have a center here in Chennai, and we'll do whatever it takes. And centers never start that quickly. And they always take years to develop. And this took, you know, less than 24 hours. So it was, the time was right. And so, but it wasn't just that time, it was this time, you see? Because Swamiji knew that, you know, Jitu's coming and he needs to have a place to come. It'll be a few years from now. But still, there needs to be a home for Master's family here, both collectively as a spiritual family, but also individually as a soul seeking God. This is really, you could say, why don't we all go to the Himalayas and live in caves and do that? Well, frankly, because we already did that. And that's not the need of this age. The need is to be seeking God with each other in the world, sort of like the ancient days that you read about in the Shastras, about, you know, this man was married and had a farm and had a cow, but he was also one with God, and, you know, like, you know, Vishwamitra or Vishishta or something, they all seem to have, you know, wives and families and cows and things like that. It wasn't that they were far, far away, you know, in some mountain cave only. And there's a whole explanation for that, which I will not go into, using great self-control, because it's a fascination of mine. But the need is for us to be in the world to see how these two lives, the spiritual life and the rest of our life, integrate, but also to the world in general needs this example. It's that time for these two halves of life to come back together, and so we're a part of that. But also it's because what Master has asked us to do. How do you know that Master has asked you to do it? Because here you are. This is how your life has played out. And though you may only be taking discipleship today, you may only be looking to him as your guru today, he has been looking to you for a long time. And I don't just mean years, lifetimes. Probably most of you were with him before in a previous life. Why? How do I know? I don't. But I suspect. Because what would attract you? What would make you want to do it this time? Why would this make sense? As no, the right thing to do is take discipleship, definitely, and Kriya. Why? You know, how many people pass through and go, oh yeah, you know, bhojan, you know, sapada, let's have some food first, and then maybe we can talk about these things. How many people say, as Swamiji's brother said to him, Frank, all that you're saying may be true. I'm just not interested. There's no answer to that, except, okay, that's fine. Wait, Paninga. And then maybe the Guru also says he will wait. But everybody will come to it in time, either because they get a touch of joy and they want more, or more frequently because they get a touch of pain and say, there has to be something better in this life. There has to be. I know there is. This direction I thought would be all fulfilling is not all fulfilling. It is kind of fulfilling. It is sort of, there's a little kuti fulfillment. But I know there has to be a full fulfillment somewhere. Where is that? If not outside, inside. Let's look. So again, why have that thought? Why not just, okay, Mysore didn't do it, try Jangri didn't do it, try Halva didn't do it, try Palgoa, something's got to do it. You just end up with diabetes, I guess, I mean, you see that none of those things do it forever. They work for a time and then they don't. And so we want the thing that works all the time. The true rasha, the true relishable, the true sweet. So this day, September 12th, coming up, is this day of, again, we are all here because Swamiji said there should be a center here. And he said that because he came and Chennai came. So that too is really the birth of our center, January 20th. We dedicated our first center on Guru Purnima, and we've sort of tended to keep that as the anniversary. In fact, we asked our astrologer friend, does this day work? Because, we're not sure, and we know that by default people will tend to pick the wrong days for something to begin. But what about, it is Guru Purnima, and he just wrote back, Guru Purnima works for me. Who cares if Rahu is with Mars and they're both eating Venus or something? No, it doesn't matter. Guru Purnima, everything's okay for Guru Purnima. So, anyway, the thing then is that this month is a very big month because we're celebrating Swamiji, of course, today, and it's very fitting that we're having a discipleship today as part of this celebration. But then also next Sunday, the 11th, we're going to have a broadcast of Jyotishji and Deviji from Delhi. So finally they are in IST. Finally they are touching, the same soil. And so that will be really thrilling. And then that's their first public event after their arrival on September 7th. And then that next day, we'll have something else also, a celebration then, because we'll all be together. So we'll have like a flower ceremony and other things on the 11th. On the 12th, which is the actual day, we'll have a meditation, which is Monday. Then the following weekend, we'll have another satsang like this. And then the following weekend, we'll have a broadcast of Jyotishji and Deviji. We hope the people in Gurgaon are trying to get it together technically, because it's sort of it's an outside event of their public talk in Gurgaon on the 25th. And a number of us, like I think 14 of us or so, will be traveling to Gurgaon to attend that event. There's still space left if you'd like to come, so just let me know. But it'll be a wonderful opportunity to see them. But also they will be coming here then later, meaning South India, but not Chennai, but Bangalore on the first weekend in November. And I'll say a little bit more about that after this. And that'll be our chance to easily meet them, because Bangalore, as you know, is just sort of the next stop after Tambaram. And so, what I'd like to share with you now is a video of Swamiji speaking on the occasion of his discipleship anniversary. This was actually in 2011. Just for reference, he left the body in 2013 and in April, and so actually the next year was his last discipleship anniversary, not that any of us knew it, the 64th anniversary, 64 years. I mean, who's even 64 years old, and then for him to have 64 years of living for Master. And so this was the 63rd. One thing I'll mention is that Dharmini and I asked him, Sir, could you make a video greeting for all of us on the occasion of your discipleship anniversary? He was filming different things at that time, and so we said, well, since the camera and everything is there, could you maybe just give a video greeting to all of us? I mean, not just, can you send Dharmini and me a video? It was meant, can you send the whole Ananda worldwide a video? I say that why? It's not in any way to sort of say, I was there. It's not that. It's basically, look, you know me. I'm here in this room with you. Dharmini is here normally. Her leg is still healing, but doing much better. But, so it's an effort to try to say, see, in that way you are connected to this video too, as opposed to just seeing it as, oh, this thing happened in history for some other people. Do you see what I mean? I feel like I have to say that because, first of all, it needs to be, you need to know my motivation. And also, for years, I never said anything like that because I just felt awkward about it. And but then when I let slip a few things like this, somebody said it's helpful to know because, you and then you, I am you, and then, so this whole thing. So, not to dwell on it, but on the other hand, you do have that connection, so why not know about it? Okay? Okay, so this is just a clip of the video, just the beginning and the end, because the whole video is about a half an hour long. We can send out the link to you all if you'd like to see the full video, but this is just a clip of it, and then we'll continue on with our satsang.
Hello, everybody. I've been asked to do a little video for my 63rd anniversary, and I'm very happy to do it. It will be a relaxed talk, so you might as well just sit back and fold your arms or whatever if you feel like folding, and I'll just talk. We just came back, a group of us from Sorrento last night. We were on vacation there. It was great fun. I went to Capri, and people couldn't believe it when I told people that I had been there the first time in 1933. I was 7 years old. It's been a long life, and I'm very grateful for it. So many things have happened. It's been a dramatic life in many ways, but this is my 63rd year of discipleship to Master. God has guided me all this way. Sometimes I've stumbled. I remember a vision that Daniel Boone had. He was given to visions. It was very interesting. He fell from the path, but he had enough good karma to try to hold him onto it. And in one of these visions, he saw the disciples all running. Master was in a big light, and there were disciples running toward it. And he said sometimes somebody would stumble and fall, and sometimes it would take them a little while to get up. And I said, did they all fall? He said, oh yes, they all stumbled and fell, but they'd get up and they'd just walk a little and start to run again. He said 4 people went into the light, and I was very happy that I was one of those 4. It was like a painting that I did when I was 12, and it was 4 people going into a light. Same idea, some sort of a strange something or other in my life that has done that. My earthly family, it was not really my family, and yet it was my family. There's a bond there, but God has, when I wanted God, He took me from that. Even at the age of 9, He sent me away from there. It was very difficult. I was 9 years old. That's not an easy age to be sent to another country. I didn't speak French, but I had to be sent there for my health, and I've been weaned in that way from a family life. Then I had to be weaned from SRF, and I don't think I'll have to be weaned from my own little family here. But my earthly family, I love them. They're fine people, and I've been grateful, except for one cousin who was not such a good person. I guess every family has to have its black sheep. All of them have been noble people, and I'm grateful for them. I would love to have had them follow me on the path. They have not. 1 or 2 are starting to come in this direction. That's fine. But I remember what Master used to say. He'd quote Jesus, "Who is my father and mother and brother and sister but those who love God?" I can go from this earth happily any time. 10. Much of the time these days, I feel as though Master were looking at the world and enjoying it through my eyes. 11. Everywhere I look, I see God trying to break out of little human egos, and I feel overwhelming love for all of them. I wish I could find the key that would unlock all their prisons and free them in God. 12. I am conscious almost unceasingly of a delicious upward flow of bliss in my heart and consciousness. And when I was in Sorrento, I was surprised to see I would smile at everybody as I passed, and often they were just like that. So I remember somebody said to me, if people smile at me, I'll smile back. If they don't smile, I don't smile. I said, I always smile first. And when they didn't smile, I just decided, all right, I'll smile all the more. And finally I began to see that by giving even more energy to them, even strangers would begin to smile and soften. I really have this longing to be able to find that key that will unlock their egos and help them to realize that they too are God. Remember Jesus when the Pharisees accused him for saying that you and your Father are one. He said, don't the scriptures say, ye are gods, all of you. Everybody is a sleeping God. And I can't help that feeling. I really feel no need to affirm my Swamihood. I'm trying to get out of all self-definitions. I have, however, in recent years founded a new Swami order to which some 600 people now belong on various stages of the order. Its main purpose is contained in literature put out by me, put out by Ananda. I don't have that song that I wanted to sing. I put out by Ananda, but I can encapsulate it with the simple statement that its primary purpose is to help people to rise above ego consciousness. Shankaracharya couldn't talk about that because he couldn't talk about matter not being real. He couldn't say that we're all part of one reality except as a dream, because in those days they were deep in Kali Yuga. Forms seemed to be solid realities, and I have known, unfortunately, many very arrogant swamis. I have known swamis who set themselves above people. Master himself, I remember deploring a time when he was in the Himalayas and seeing these people, because they were renunciates and householders would bring them food, and they would look down on the householders who brought them food for having to go out and earn food. This is ego. The main thing on the spiritual path is to give up this sense that I am different from you. We are all part of God's great dream. I hope our Nayaswami order, which embraces people in all religions, Catholics, Muslims, it doesn't matter. They're all welcome to join this Nayaswami order. Naya means new Swami order, and get rid of this paramount sin, which is the thought, simply the mistake of thinking that I and you are separate from each other. Jesus said, love your neighbor as yourself. Why? Because he is yourself. And so I've signed this letter with blessings and love, Swami Kriyananda. Let me sing. I've sung this to you before, but it's a song that came to me recently. I was watching the movie, Come to the Stable. It was done in 1949, a beautiful movie, but they had a melody there, and these words came to me, and I've sung it for many of you before, but many also will hear this song for the first time, and it really expresses my mood after my 63 years of discipleship, for which I am untiringly grateful. So let me close it by giving you my love, yes, and then singing you this song. Through a long and sleepless night, I've whispered your name. Through the pains and joys of life, I'm always the same. Tempt me no longer, this world's not for me. I have known all its charms. Fold me now in your arms, make me free. Lifetimes have passed, I've called out to you through hope and despair. Lifetimes I've known the goals that I sought awaited nowhere. Help me remember there's one goal alone. All I am is you. All I am is yours. All I've done is yours. I'm your own.
And so you see, when we talk of Swamiji and Ananda Chennai and the spiritual family, all these wonderful things, gifts that we have, Jyotishji and Deviji again as supreme blessings in our lives. And even the discipleship as a way of connecting to the Guru, of following the Guru, of receiving training, of going deeper. Still, just as Swamiji expressed, it's all just for God. It's just to merge in God. If we're going to merge in God, what is keeping us from merging? Just the ego, as he said. So just letting go of the need to control, letting go of, it's sometimes described as the ego being, if you take a glass bottle, fill it with seawater and then put it in the ocean. And so this, bottle has this, the ocean water inside the bottle has this sense of separate identity from the rest of the ocean. It's just the same, just a bottle of water. That's all we are. We just have to break that bottle and merge with the rest of the sea. But the thing is, the Master explained, you don't dissolve. That's part of the concern, that sort of I'll become one with everything, but then everything will become one with me, and then maybe I'll be nothing. Just disappear and say, well, I guess that was fun. No, it isn't that. He said, you always have the memory of that separateness. You always remember that it was, Saint Prem and Saint Rajesh and Saint Saravanan, and both two Saint Saravanans, and Shreya, Shravan, you always remember who you were before. And so you don't have that sense of separation. And if someone prays to you, God in that form, he said it is you yourself who appear. If someone prays to Master, Master comes. It's not like God has some photocopier and just says, look, this looks like Yogananda, and anyway, they didn't meet him, they won't know. So you hear, hi, hello, I am Yogananda. No, it's not that. It's Master himself. To the point that one of Master's disciples was praying to him after his passing, and instead Sri Yukteswar came to the disciple. He said, Yoganandaji's busy right now. Can I help you? Wow. I mean, what a thought. What is Master busy with? And then at the same time, what did he say? Guruji, could you handle this? Thanks. I mean, really makes you think a bit. But on the other hand, they are very much alive. And so why shouldn't they be busy? And who they're busy with? Is it all the people in Hiranyaloka, as described in an autobiography of a yogi? Probably. But they're just as busy with you. Master said that. The Guru is busy. He is busy for you. And he's helping. And he also said, whether I am in the body or not, for those who love my Father, those who are in tune with me, I shall stoop down from heaven and introduce them to the love of my Father. And we have a recording of him saying that, the audio, so it's like it's official, whether I am in the body or not. So please keep that in mind, that everything that we're doing, all that this is, everything that's so wonderful has but one goal, which is to bring you home to God. And that's it. And now the extent that we can do that together, it's accelerated, definitely. But still, that's the only purpose. There's no other purpose. And so we see that in Swamiji, at the end of his life, he was much more open about expressing his closeness to God, his oneness with God. And so, again, that's what we're all here for, and that's where we will all be soon.